Hi everyone, welcome to JKC Artistry and for another gouache painting Timelapse. Today I will be talking about my overall process when I create an art piece. Before I get into my topic for today, I'll tell you a little bit about this illustration, which isn't a lot of detail. Before I made this piece, I was trying to brainstorm for my comic I was working on, but couldn't get any ideas, and I started to research and I came upon some stuff for self-improvement. I don't know how I got there. It was about spirituality, which is actually a sort of concept that will be in my comic, so I decided to look more into it. I was feeling so stressed at the moment, I couldn't think that well, but when I was telling me meditating would be helpful, so I was like, I guess I'll try that. Only did it for several minutes, but afterwards I felt much better and motivated. It's really crazy, but I used to do this all the time when I was younger, but I just forgot about it. After the meditation, I sprung into action, which is the topic I'll be talking to you about, my process. Another thing to mention is using gouache is fairly new to me, so this process didn't really fit completely with this. I took certain aspects of my process and put it into this painting, but this whole piece was entirely new. I only did like at least about 3 gouache paintings ever, and I've been slowly trying to use color pencils, so it didn't come out as good as I wanted it to, but it was still a good practice and to get to know the medium a lot better. So now I'll talk to you about my process. So usually when I create art, I have a inspirational moment, or I force myself to feel inspired. I usually force myself by looking at my Pinterest board that I create specifically for this reason. I look at the artwork that looks similar to the finished piece that I want to make and analyze them. I pick a medium I want to work with and plan ahead by researching about it, even if I already used it before, just to get me in that mindset. Sometimes this phase lasts for about an hour or even up to weeks, based on how much I'm in an art block or not. After I get a concept, I then research about it and look for components I want in the piece. I look at references and put them together to help me make the idea more concrete. Sometimes I go off my emotions on how I'm feeling and write down those words like sadness, anger, and happiness and connect these emotions with something within my idea. This entire process is long or it can be really short, but it just depends on me and how I'm feeling, how motivated I am. The next phase is planning my piece. I'll do this by making thumbnails and playing around with the medium and thinking about structure. Sometimes I make a guide, sort of like just a little guide, and I just redraw aspects of the piece over and over again. Like if I'm drawing a body and I'm doing a specific pose, I will redraw it over and over again, especially if the pose is difficult. And then I also just repeat some aspects that I'm not familiar with. So when I start my piece, I'll be more ready and I won't most likely mess up. After that, I start to make a measurement or a shape guide of the thumbnail. This part of the process, I look how things are within the piece and how they correspond to each other, the overall shapes, and etc. If you guys want in a later video, I could show you how to do this in more detail because it's a little hard to explain. And basically, looking at it eye to eye and seeing how everything is in a shape and how long is the shape and how to place them once I recreate the image. So I'm basically making a guide for myself to help me recreate the thumbnail at a larger scale for my final piece. Lastly, I get started. I try to make sure I'm hydrated, that I ate food so I don't be weak and hungry. I try to make sure my arm isn't sore because I'm an artist that habits a lot, so I don't want to start a piece when my arm is in a lot of pain. I also try to make sure I'm comfortable and I have something playing in the background as I work. So this part of the process is usually pretty short. It's just basically me trying to get my desk together, get all the materials together, getting whatever I need. Like if I'm painting, I gotta go find all my brushes. If I'm using pencil, I'll try to go find my pencils with the different grades. I find my sharpener and anything I need and just pile it up. And even at this time when I'm like playing things in the background, sometimes I'll have like art videos in the background. Anything that'll help me keep that art mindset and that type of momentum as I'm drawing, or something else that I'm fairly interested in. So then when I keep going, I don't stop randomly or I get too tired. I can still feel pumped and in the mood and motivated for the whole entire process. And this is how this painting became to be. This specific one was very short since, obviously, like I said, I wanted to explore gouache more. Sometimes in my process, I do use certain parts more than others based on what I'm doing. In this specific piece, I didn't really plan it out too much. I just sort of went with one of the ideas I had. But as I went through this art piece, I guess it was one of the shortest process I ever did. But usually when I do a bigger piece, I just go in more and more and more detail. And I want to make sure everything is right before I do it. It's just how I am. I don't know why I have this type of structure when I make a piece. A lot of people tell me I should loosen up, but it's times when I loosen up is the artwork that I don't really like the most, because what I have in my head, that's the idea that I really want to create, and I want to follow that specific plan and try my hardest to make that happen no matter what. So overall, that's how I go through making my artwork. If you want some more point of views on how I actually do it, or showing you videos step by step of the thumbnailing, any of those type of aspects, maybe I'll show you my Pinterest board. You can always ask me in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. Leave a like, subscribe, and ask any comments below. I have a link in the description so you can get 2 free months of Skillshare. And then it can really help me out as an artist. I have a Skillshare class on painting with gouache and just getting to know gouache. And I'll see you in the next video.